get that. This is live. Oh crap! Watch what we say, Karens.
It's one of those things where I feel like it's okay because not enough people watch us anymore. Actually, I'll take that back. The last couple of weeks, it's been pretty good. We actually hit 7 viewers last week. It's an accomplishment.
I'll take it for sure.
Look who has joined us.
Seb, I was waiting. Dun, dun, dun.
In the comments for you, Seth.
Sethias, welcome back.
Oh man, it's always funny. We get to like 2, and then we need 3. So it's always like we sit here and we kind of just BS for like a good portion of the time, and then all of a sudden, like the last half hour, we get a final player.
It's our couch sessions. Give the people what they want. Damn it.
I have said it before, and I shall say it again. We get more viewers when we're just sitting here BSing back and forth than anything else. I don't know why.
Entertainment.
Get her here.
I'm loud, and it's fine. It's fine.
Well, it is Monday, and as always, I got my dream team of cohorts here with me, the Panda below me and Seth below her, and still looking for at least 1 more, maybe 2 more players out there. It is the Wheel of Fire, Circle of Prosperity, Wheel of Doom, the Donkey Kong of barrels. I really need to start a book. I need to start a book and a list and find out which ones I've said and the ones that I keep repeating, because I really feel every single week I repeat the same stupid ones over and over again. And just by Panda's facial expressions alone, I know it. Like she's like, "Oh, I've heard that one." And that one. And that one.
I once had a high school teacher that was like, if I ever repeat something, just give me a little R up high in the sky.
I can't tell you. My creative juices kind of like hit a plateau by this time. But once again, it is Monday. We're here to guess letters, come up with funny phrases, and make fun of Mikey's spelling abilities. Apparently, so
Did you spell check everything this week?
See, this is where it gets offensive. Like nobody responded to the fact that we were playing a game, but both of you chimed in when you were like, "Yeah, no, we're here to make fun of Mikey's spelling." Absolutely,
100%.
Push that like button.
I can't make fun of my kids' spelling. That would make me rude as fuck. Like, let's be honest.
So you're gonna make I see.
I have to get it out somewhere.
I am an official spelling bee punching bag. I get it now. I got it. It all makes sense.
You are looking at the 6th grade spelling champ, so there's that.
How about this? I have that Grammarly app, and I believe that and I believe that the Grammarly app hates me. Like literally hates me. Like it won't respond sometimes. Like where I purposely am like, this is effed up. It just won't pick it up. It's like, you know what? Get out, kick rocks. Like it's so funny. Same thing with my GPS. My GPS catches an attitude. If I make the wrong turn like 3 or 4 times, it's like, excuse me. I think you
I love that. I feel like that's what technology should do, but they know better because I check it out the fucking window so fast. I don't care it's my phone. Get the fuck out.
Don't you say that to me, phone. I own you. Literally. I can't do that because like literally my life runs off my phone. It's getting bad.
I feel that, but I also have a pretty severe Irish temper, so there's that.
Even towards a device that you have so much love for, like I know I get.
No. There's no love. It's all just functionality, which is why I have an iPhone 8 still. still. And my boyfriend makes fun of me for it all the time. He's like, you need at least an 11. I'm like, do I though? Because it works.
Exactly. See, for me, I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship. I scream and yell at my phone all the time, and then I apologize to it. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Please don't die at me. Please. Like,
that's why I refuse to yell at my car. Every time I do, like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, little chocolate chip. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Please don't die on me. I don't have the money to replace any parts right now. Please, no.
It's like, please just turn over. Just,
right.
You know, I'll even go for the click. At least with the clicking noise, I know what's going on. I just need to find jumper cables and another battery, and I'm usually good to go. But right now, I say that, and I have a landscaping truck that's stuck in my warehouse and refuses to move. Like, it literally, like, it drove in, and now it just doesn't want to leave. It's like an unborn child. It's like, no, I'm in the womb. I don't want to go anywhere. It's warm and it's nice, and there's no elements.
Yep.
There's like,
I do know that feeling quite well.
What, being in the womb?
No, having one.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, wow, you got some great ass memory if you can remember being in the womb. I don't remember what happened to me this morning, let alone yesterday. So
okay, well, first of all, short-term memory refuses to remember anything this year, so there's that. But
well, they call me Mikey Blaze for my memory loss for a reason. So
there it is.
No, it's not. Totally not the case. It's because I burn up the turntables, the 1 and 2.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Sure it is.
Hey, you know what? You guys can read my bio and find out.
Sure.
I know somebody out there is taking notes on me. If it's not somebody on Earth, it's definitely the man upstairs. He's going to be opening that. I'm going to get to those pearly gates, and they're going to take out a whole separate edition. They're just going to be like, wow, we have a lot to talk about. Yeah, chapter 13 from 17 on, you did some shit, and I'm like, well, it was all in survival mode, I think.
You did like the beat drop.
Do you remember when? And if it's anything from the 90s, early 2000s, my immediate answer will be no. I do.
Your Honor.
No, not even pleading a fifth. I just will be like, I do not physically, mentally, or emotionally remember from like 1999 until about 2008. That you know, like that time frame, it was pretty fuzzy. It was pretty fuzzy, and this is why I spent 6 years in college. So I did graduate.
Not me, fam. I was like, get me the fuck out of here.
See, for me, it was more like I tried to get out of there, and they kept pulling me back in because of the stupid requirements.
Let them pull you back in.
Oh well, every single semester it was like, oh, by the way, you need like 1.5 credits in this. Oh, by the way, you need a half credit in this. Oh, your last semester
credit. Who the hell does half credit?
A gym class? I think that's what it was. I don't remember what it was.
I was a performing arts major. Like that wasn't a thing. It was either like 3 credits or 1 credit. Like there was no in between.
All I remember is that I was a business student, but I changed my major like I think it was 6 times. So well, I'll tell you, I went in on a pre-doctoral. I was supposed to be a doctor, believe it or not. I went into college with a scholarship on my way to being a doctor. And here I am now.
And what happened? Yeah, what happened?
So did you know that you can add atoms together? Like there's values to atoms, and you can add them together, and then it equals out to a molecule.
Yes.
Guess what? Even with an accounting background, no. 6 times. 6 freaking times, and the only way I passed is since I took it 6 times, I found a kid who was smart and taking it for the first time and traded him all the lab work, which then allowed me to look over his shoulder during tests. And that's when I knew I needed to be a business major. See? Negotiation was in my blood, and And it's pretty funny because I am now on. I now work with the Alumni Association, who I hope the hell is not watching right now.
Not Catholic, but I'll send one up.
I think there's a statute of limitations. It's been like, I don't know, 15 years or something like that since 2008. So 10.
That's when you graduated from college?
Yeah, well, I was supposed to graduate in 2007.
That's when I graduated high school.
I age well from what I'm told.
You really do. Like, shit.
Everybody
I still got my full face of makeup on for the day, and I'm like, all right, this shouldn't come off. Like,
well, the best part is when I travel with Stevie B, and it's one of those things where we do the. If you ever hear us doing the quiz of who's younger, it's because I love proving that he looks like the old man. It's like you're 5 years younger than me, and everybody thinks you're 11 years older. So keep it going.
Wait, no, it's the way that he carries himself. I can attest to this.
Oh, old man.
Yeah. I mean that with all the love in my heart. Like it clearly it worked.
Hey, whatever. I will be forever young. I'll have that theme song playing in the background, even in my coffee.
I wanna be. I feel like I should be slow dancing with some big ass puffy sleeves, like.
And then some baby powder in my pocket. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, the good old days, when you can get away with those kind of jokes. Like I don't know if I told you guys, but I actually had to apologize to a crowd a couple Sundays ago because I did a classic toy round in trivia. And
the potato head.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Freaking potato head.
I was so over this conversation.
See that? Up. See.
Shocking.
I know, right? It really is. As I'm drinking my second Corona Rita.
There's a Corona Rita now? Is that like a pre-made? Or
have you never had one before?
If I'm questioning it, then I have not.
Okay, so you need to fly your ass to Texas so I can make you one, because apparently mine is like, ooh, yes, please. So
is that like the margarita with the Corona in it?
I will only fly to Texas if you go get the little glass holder that puts the mini Corona sideways in it.
Oh, it's not mini, babykins. It's not mini.
Babykins. I've never heard that one. I can only imagine which two words were combined to make that one.
You should hear what I say to I have several coworkers, like other teachers not directly working with me because I won't. I'm still too new for that. But other teachers of mine who are in the same, like, I have to be certified here in Texas, like, and I had to do a couple of classes.
Yeah, yep.
My co-teachers in that class have heard quite a few nicknames, and they're like, I don't know if I'm honored or like I should feel like the utmost disdain for you right now.
It's all in love. That's what I tell people. Yeah. If you get a nickname from me, that means I'm making an effort to remember who you are. Otherwise, like, a name goes in this year and goes out that year. And I tell people, I'm not trying to be offensive. I don't. I just meet thousands of people in a yearly span. Like I work in the event industry and it's the worst because people will like get, butthurt. And I'm like, I swear to God, I'm not trying to offend you. I will give you, if I bestoweth a nickname uponeth you, then you have made it into the mind circle that is now friendship. Otherwise, it's just
mine usually not super endearing. Like the favorite recent one of mine was I was talking to somebody through like Snapchat or something, and it was like, oh, honey bear. And he was like, wow, I could feel it from the phone. And I'm like, it's golden. Like, you're being a dum-dum right now. And I call my students this too. And obviously I tone it down for my students because they're like 6 and 7 and like they're learning to do better. Like
they're still trainable like dogs. You need just positive reinforcement, a little pull on the choker chain, just in between, a giving them a little punch here and there, oh, you fell down, I'm so sorry. Like, you'll learn better next time.
We probably could have done that better, right? Right?
I would not hold it against you if you tripped a kid every once in a while. So
no, I never caused physical harm on purpose, but I
on purpose.
Or they're all accidents.
Oh no, I don't put my hands on students for that exact reason.
See, I just think that you don't do it because the paperwork involved is just endless at that point.
Well, see, I haven't been like gen ed teachers aren't trained on paperwork for this reason. Like, we're not SPED teachers. But in my classroom, something I learned from my very first mentor teacher is you have a lot of sign language in the classroom, right? One of the big things that I learned, especially working with really young kids, like really young kids need that, like, they need that physical touch. Like, they need hugs and they need like head pats and shoulder pats.
Oh, yeah, you feel my love, don't you?
Yeah, basically. So we're not technically supposed to give hugs in our classroom. Obviously, with the younger kids, like I said, they sometimes really need that. Like, they need that physical, like, hey, you're doing okay, dude. Like, it's not the end of the world. You made one mistake. So we have the sign language for, hey, can I have a hug? And they don't ask, they just, and it's, no, not right now, or stop, like, focus, or in a minute, right? Or obviously, like, yeah, cool, whatever.
Huh. I just learned something. I did not know that there was like.
I use a lot of sign language in my class, like a lot of it. Like, other teachers use like what I think is called like silent signals or whatever, and I don't know, like, every teacher is different, but a lot of mine comes from when I was teaching Eros when he was younger. Sign language, like baby sign language, is a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, and I thought you were going to go down the route that they used. What did you say? What was the other one? What was the what would you call? What do other teachers use? The silent what?
No, silent signals.
Silent signals. See, and I thought you were going to break out one of those little dog whistles and be like, "This is the silent signals right here."
Oh no! There's teachers that do like whistles and harmonicas or whatever, and I'm like, that's too far, y'all.
You're going down a dangerous path, putting in noisemakers into child's hands. Like, I believe that is the wrong approach to the situation.
That's not it. Stop.
Be like, give me that back. That was the worst decision I've ever made.
Give me here. I need this back.
Oh man! But the good old days when all you needed was a good whop across the hands or the back of the head. Like
honestly, there are days where I wish I could go back to that. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Stop it!
Absolutely, those were the good old days. Like, yeah. I remember that there was a day where I messed up and I had a textbook thrown at me. So you know what?
What?
Yeah, it went like flying by my head. And it was one of those, the best one, other than getting put, colored in as Barney in college, was I was in a college class and I had a tendency to fall asleep in every single class. Like, I don't really know how I got through school, other than that I got really good rest. But I will never forget.
To me.
What?
That is so mind-boggling to me. But again, I was a performing arts major, so if I didn't show up and like do the things, obviously I was failing. Like.
See, I went to
one professor who I did show up and I did all the things, and it was technically my third class because I went to a community college first and transferred over, and none of my credits transferred. So like I had to reach. Yeah, so I was like, this is my third time. Like, just let me do the things. Like, I know what I'm doing, and they still failed me because they just didn't like me. And that's a lawsuit. That was a lawsuit waiting to happen. I'm still waiting to hear back from a lawyer.
See, I had a biology professor that knew I was the sleeper in the class and came up with quite some creative ways to wake me up. Everything from little pieces of paper that my mouth was used as the basketball hoop, to the classic taking several textbooks and slamming them on the table next to my head. Where
I need to be a college professor. That's the only thing I'm hearing from this.
Yeah, well, so let me and this man was like in his 90s and like tenured for like, I think he said it was like on 22 years. Like he literally could have ran over a disabled kid and gotten away with it on campus. Like that's really how far this guy went with his like his teaching. And
oh my gosh, I love it so much.
Well, so the best thing that ever, like the worst way to wake up is to have 4 textbooks slammed next to your head, and your response is to fart for the entire class. Like that was my response to his response, and I looked at him dead in his eye, and I go, "Look what you just did." So to this day, I know that I can't be rudely waken up by textbooks because I have a defensive mechanism to such tests. I felt like Skunk Man after that. I was going to come into class with a cape on and wearing a skunk mask. But no. It was funny. The funny one too is that somebody, you ever see those finger rockets? You ever make a finger rocket where you take a piece of paper, wrap it around your finger, and twist the top, and then you can blow it, and it becomes a rocket. Well, somebody did that.
Rocket, like I did the thing, but that's cool.
Yeah, so somebody did that and got. Yeah, well, so let me put it this way. Somebody did that and magically out of, got the blessing of the professor to start shooting them in my direction. One must have landed perfectly down my throat so that I could cough and spit it back out the other direction in a projectile type of way. No. That was another rude awakening. This class, I really didn't learn much. As you can see, I don't remember anything that I learned on the screen. But I do remember all the antics that went down in this class. So you can see where
engaging lessons mean something.
Yeah, well, I think it was a war between me and the professor, because after I showed up to Barney, this was the class that I got colored in purple and showed up to his class. He pulled me aside. I'll never forget. He pulled me aside and said, "You will never be anything in biology. You really should consider another major." And I looked him dead in his eye that semester and got an A freaking minus in that class. Ha!
What? That was just fight him. Like that was just to spite him.
100%. And then I switched majors, like right out. Like I gave him a big old fuck you, and I was out the door.
You can't argue with that.
Mm-hmm. No more biology for me. I still to this day know nothing about biology and question myself why I thought it was a good idea to somehow walk the path of learning stomates and all this other crap that comes along with biology.
You know what's great is that I went to school initially to be a performing arts major. I had to go back to school to become a teacher and had to go back to school again to get my master's and my secondary master's in STEM education and curriculum design. Like I could literally go and I could teach any education, elementary class about science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And I'm like, really the only one I have like a very thorough background in is arts before my master's. But what's the kicker in it is that my master's degrees don't count for shit. I literally got fired from my last job in Vegas because they didn't count my master's degrees for anything.
Oh, wow. That's awful.
It really was. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I did exactly what you told me to do. I actually have a secondary degree. Like, what else do you want me to do? And they're like, we need you to go back to school or you can quit. And I was like,
2 fingers and a deuce, please.
basically. And I'm like, really? Like, I could go work for, okay. Bye.
Yeah.
All that being said, like, I too took a couple of science classes because, you have to when you're first starting out. And it popped up in my news feed that today, actually, I had to do it was astronomy, like studying the stars and like planets and whatever. And I had to do an astronomy lab with it. It was one of those science classes.
Yep.
And the lab teacher was different from the gen ed classroom. And they were like, yeah, use Photoshop and do this with the sun and blah, blah, blah. And I basically hired one of my best friend's brothers who's like excelling in Photoshop and photography was his focus. And like, that's what he does with his job. And he's like, why? You're a 101 student. Why is this lab scientist demanding you do this? Like, I'm going to do this for free for you because fuck this professor. And I'm like, I knew I liked your family. I knew I liked you guys.
So I say it like this. Like, I come across that I front that I was like a bad student, but I also had a little side business where you could literally come to me with any kind of writing assignment, any kind of essay, literally I've written dissertations, I've written essays, but literally I could write you anything. Like, I could write you a paper that will guarantee you at least a B. That was my guarantee. I would never shoot for the stars, but a lot of times it came back as A's. And until they got that, fancy fangled Google thing, plagiarism was never a concern. So
that's funny. I probably could have done that too because I bullshit my way through a lot of stuff, even to this day. Like, I get through so many of my little mandatory meetings, and I'm like, you want me to bullshit? Like, I can tell you what I do for my class. Like, that's legit. But you want me to, oh yeah, let's look at this, and let's compare and contrast and analyze and blah blah blah. Like, no, they're a bunch of 6-year-olds. You know what they need? They need to fucking play. But if you want my teacher answer? Okay, well, if you look at this answer here, well, and let's cross compare it with this. Like, I can bullshit my way through any meaning, really.
I did not know teachers had meetings like that at your level.
Gosh, daily.
Daily?
Yeah.
They have daily meetings. What can you possibly talk about with 6-year-olds on a daily basis?
No,
like, I don't understand.
Adults. It's with other adults, honey.
No, I get that. I get it. But like, what can you possibly be discussing? Like, little Johnny put a crayon up his nose today. Oh, how did you get to remove that?
What subject? And I promise you, I've had a conversation about it that lasted way too long.
See, for me, my answer would be, yeah, I broke out the pliers and we just rammed that thing deeper so he would never learn to do it again.
He learned his lesson, damn it.
I'm all about crime and punishment. So if you do the crime, you gotta take the heat that goes with it,
Yeah,
and that might be a crayon sticking out the back of your head. I'm sorry.
He went a little too far.
I have no soul for that kind of, like, if you do something stupid, you need to learn that it was stupid. And I have to give these teachers, like all you teachers, some credit, because honestly, if there was as many Karen and Kevins that came in the door to scream at you guys for the stupidity of those children, I think I would be sitting there at those parent-teacher meetings with a bat, just tapping it on the table, like waiting. Like, oh, you got something to say? Oh, I got something to say too, but I'll let you finish because you won't have teeth by the end. By the time I'm done with you.
You know what? I'll say this. Like, the last parent I had like that was 2 years ago.
Oh.
And when we actually sat down and talked about it, it was like I'm not apologizing for what I did. I'll apologize for how it came across to you. But here's my concern. And by the way, here's his grades. And then after that, mom was singing a different tune. She was like, oh shit, you're failing in everything. You're smarter than this. What the fuck? You told me this. And she turned on her kid. And I was like, I'm sorry for how it came across, but we both know he's better than this. And she was like, yeah, I'll come back to you in a second. And the meeting ended basically with her drilling into her son. Meanwhile, like 2 weeks prior, she wanted me fired for the lies that her 6-year-old was telling her. And I'm like, yeah, believe your 6-year-old because they're not going to get in trouble at home.
You broke out the teacher I'm mad at you face on me on that one. Like, that wicked eye with the half smile. It's like, oh no, I'm in trouble.
I don't even get to really do that face because I have to wear a stupid mask at work this year. So I'm like, you get the crazy eyes. And I joke with my kids this year. Like, I joke with my kids that are like troublemakers, but like in the end, they're like, oh, 6 and it's fine. Like, I gotta test the boundaries. And like, I get you. You're good. Like, we're kosher. Fine with you. But I was joking with them last week And I was like, are you going to pull Miss Hines' crazy eyes out? But again, you can only see the eyes. I'm like making all these weird faces, and I'm like, you can't even see like what I'm like. I'm laughing hysterically behind this mask, but no one can see it.
See, in Connecticut, they're about to lift the mask mandates in the middle of May. And I'm like definitely afraid that I'm just going to be like the most rude person because people are going to be seeing the full view, like facial expressions, like the eyes expressions, because I've now developed eye expressions. Like I can definitely get my point across just by you staring from the nose up now.
Oh, so, yeah, it's a legit thing. It's a legit thing. Like teachers before this, like we had that look down pat. And now we got it in the eyes, and that's it. And the kids are getting better. Like, oh shit.
See, but now the problem is when you combine the top with the bottom, there's going to be some definite issues. Like, there's going to be no more like, yeah. But see, this remember in the bars when you bumped into somebody or like you said something and somebody said oh, did you say that to me? It's going to be more of like, why did you look at me that way? And it's going to be like, oh, man, like, is it really going to go down this path? Like, yes, I saw you and I meant to piss you off with my eyes. That was my full intention, not drinking my alcoholic beverage with more than one friend. You know, like, I thought I was like, oh, Seth left. But he just like, no, he shot us a light. That's what it was. If you are watching, because I see one person is now watching, we need one more person to actually start the game. But I don't mind keeping my monologue going. It's like I feel like I'm on Saturday Night Live, except this just is like the longest intro ever. So
I'm fine with it too. It's our couch sessions. Damn it, they're back.
So it's so funny. I saw on TV today that Elon Musk is going to be the host of Saturday Night Live coming up this Saturday.
Really? I might actually watch that one because he seems like super awkward person.
But he's like the cool nerd. He put so much effort into being a nerd early on in life that he went on like the Seth Rogen show and smoked pot. But he smoked pot like this. Like he held it with two fingers and was like. But he smoked, and I was like, coughed like I've never seen somebody cough.
Nerd doesn't exist. Trust me, I tried.
I don't know. When you create the first electric car that runs people over, and then smoke pot on the Seth Rogen show, you reach a level of cool, like
Well, I've never invented a car that does all that.
Apparently they're having a Tesla like board meeting right now. Like everybody can join on Zoom and listen to Elon Musk talk. And he's been talking about how they're trying to outsmart AI. And I was like, that seems like an oxymoron. I feel like computers are always going to be
robot. Isn't that the whole premise? Like we have to outsmart the very things we created. Like,
well, I bet you if we don't outsmart them, they're going to outsmart us someday. So
nothing. One day we will serve our robot overlords.
I will not be here for that. Thank goodness.
I don't know either. But what kind of future is that for my son? Like
he will keep you in a nice small little jar, probably from the neck up, and it'll be like like Futurama, where you can just talk.
No, thank you. Eating on like algae.
It'll say little. It'll have a little name tag saying Panda/Mom on it. It'll be put up on a shelf.
I'm remembered. I'm so honored.
It'll be awful one day. I feel like it'll be the ultimate insult to humanity when you can just be put up on a shelf for an eternity. Like you're still alive mentally, but you're doomed to sit on a shelf and just wash back and forth between your like
goldfish. Ugh.
I see. The whole thing is that I feel like people are just gonna leave me until it like turns dark and you can't see my face anymore. Like they're gonna be like, yeah, that's Mikey Blaze. Like, why is it so dark in there? He kept on with his habits afterwards, like you just see smoke coming out of the
floating head underwater. Like
well, for Panda, I think it would be wine instead of water.
Or I wouldn't argue with either one of those, really.
See, the problem is, though, it's just going to be recycled, though. It's going to go in and come out, go in and come out, go in.
I don't see the problem with that. It's
Yeah.
just floating head, like, it's fine.
If I'm going to be a floating head, I'm going to be enjoying my floatiness.
Floating
Panda will be the loudest thing on the mantelpiece. Like,
damn straight I will. You will listen. Even as
pay attention to me. I need a refill.
someone pay attention to me. That's exactly how that went down, and I don't think anyone who knows me would disagree.
Your head is just going to be leaning against the side. Be the most awkward, fish tank ever.
You mean the things?
You're gonna get one of those, the family's just gonna get you one of those small, like, you ever see the portable gas bill tank things, with the you're just gonna be watered or wined every night, just a refill. Go down the line.
Can we skip to the future now? Because honestly, this sounds amazing. I don't have to work for it. I just sit on a shelf and be like, the fuck, where's my wine, bro?
You guys promised that floating head in wine. Where is it? I'm here, and I'm enjoying it. I'm down for it. I'm not enjoying it.
I'm here for this. This is a future I could get behind.
See,
Bet.
Like I said, all I ever want in life is to be, at the end of my days, be powdered up, stuffed into a cannon, and shot out in one big poof. It's gonna be a big party.
I'm convinced that I will go to work for the circus one day. I don't know why, but I will. I
work for the circus.
Do you really?
Yeah, we covered this.
Different circus than what you're talking about.
Wait, are we talking? Is there different circuses?
I worked for Cirque du Soleil for a while.
Okay, so here's the thing. I would love to work for Cirque du Soleil. I recognize that my skill level is not what they require. That's fine. I started late in life, and I'm happy with where I'm at. But also, the Cirque artist life is so short-lived because of the high demands of their job. I couldn't do it. I couldn't work for Cirque as much as I would love that name recognition.
I wasn't. I'm not a performer.
No, I would prefer to be a performer personally.
But most of the shows they run for years.
Yeah, no, I've studied under a bunch of Cirque performers, and I met one studying at UNLV back in Vegas, and I know so many people who had to stop working because they got injured because of their Cirque acts. And I'm like, I don't know if it's Cirque or the acts or a weird combination of the two, but most.
I feel like it's the amount of acid that you have to take to stay up on all that crazy lighting and sound that goes on.
No, that's probably the not the easiest part because I working as a stagehand that shit's hard. I'd much rather be a performer and oh, you want me to find my light? Okay, here, got it. I'm here. I'd much rather do that than push a bunch of buttons and no. That part of it terrifies me because if I mess up, everything goes wrong. I'd much rather be in front and just forget my lines. Oh, the show goes on.
See, welcome to my world. I push buttons for a living, as you can see, and sometimes you got a difficult audience that does not appreciate your hard work when you do it 7 minutes before the start of the event. So, yes, I know. I'm number one. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I take a bow. I am number one.
Oh, wait, I think I used the wrong finger for that one.
Wrong finger, indeed.
Oh,
it's a family show. Seth, we can't. It's a family show.
Yeah.
At this point, the only family is sitting in the room with me. So,
and mine is in one of
So-
these two rooms. I don't know.
uh,
He's in that room.
come hither. I need to know that you're still alive.
He answered. That's good.
You're still making noise. Good. That means you're still alive somewhere in this house. No gargling sound? Perfect. Even better.
It's not bath time today, so we're good. Golden.
Oh, man. Yeah. So far, we've gone 47 minutes and not a single soul has actually logged on. I've been watching like the watching clock. Nobody. So I think
for us.
yeah. So on the back end, it shows you when people are watching. So I call it the watching clock. So far, nobody's watching. Last week we hit a pinnacle with like 7 people. So it's all right though. It's okay. I believe there's some lows and there's some highs. You know, it's all good though.
It's after all a Monday, and it's been the Mondayest of Mondays for a while for me. I don't know about y'all.
Oh, look at you going from Vegas to Texas, and now you throw the y'all in there.
Oh, I said y'all even when I lived in Vegas, honey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I spent a bunch.
Out somehow.
See, you know what was funny is when I went down to Texas, I spent lots of times in Texas. My exes are from Texas, to be honest. So,
I remember I was actually thinking of you earlier. There was a line in a song on my way home. It was like, "Oh, my exes live in Texas," but it wasn't the exes live in Texas song. It was a different song, and I was like, "Oh, it's like Mikey." Oh.
So when I heard y'all, I would really sit there as the northerner and be like, "No, it's you all.
No,
you
no,
all. No. We be American here, and it's you all. If you want to speak them American,
because only a Yankee would say you all. Even North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia,
throw your hands up,
Texas. All of us say y'all. Y'all.
You all.
It doesn't matter how thick your accent is. It's y'all, honey. It's y'all. Yes, it is.
God bless you so.
Act together, okay? And y'all need to just accept it.
Let me put it to you this way. I spent some time down in Louisiana, and if I can make it through a conversation with a what was it? It was they did like witchcraft. What are they called?
Voodoo.
Yeah, voodoo.
Voodoo. Yes, that's exactly like. I made it through an entire conversation. It took almost 2 hours, and it was just over a simple question of what a thing in the shop that they were trying to sell did. And 2 hours. And being a northerner, it's like I almost wanted to pull the words out of their mouth. Like it was like, come, and to do follow-up questions were the worst because there was like a 40 to 45-second pause, and it's like and a stare, like just a stare, like I thought I hit them in the face with a shovel, and I had physically nothing in my hand. So
they gotta think about what it is you're really asking. Now, any northerner could go and they could ask some questions, but down south, down in the real south,
in the bayou in New Orleans, because there's no words.
Think before we answer, because it is on us if we tell you a bad answer.
Yeah, it's all well and good.
Conversations before. I feel the pain.
But then you get down to Bourbon Street and you go into the strip club, and one of those girls will talk you out of your money so freaking fast.
So good at it.
I got bamboozled down there. That's what happens when you go up to one of those.
That's not surprising, Mikey. That's not surprising.
Freaking slushy machines sticking out of the side of the building. Like I was like, oh, it's a slushy machine. I got one.
Is that what we're calling them now? Slushy
Mo-
machines?
hurricanes or pomegranates or whatever the frick they call them, like, and them machines are deadly. They should be outlawed.
See what I mean? Oh, shit.
I literally got a slushy thing that was as tall as me, and I was like, oh yeah. And I was like twice as my size I am now. So like I was like, I can handle this. And I was like this much into it. I was like, I cannot handle the rest of this.
Did you make it more or less than halfway through?
I made it all the way through. It just took me 2 days. Hey,
No.
you know what? When you get it refilled, like I was walking and I was asking for refills because there's just a guy standing on the side of the building. It's like, what, a slushie? I'm like, I want a refill. And like, refill, yeah. And they fill it up a little. I had like 45 different colors. Like by the time I got to the bottom, it was like this dark black, like
evilness. That's when you abandon ship and be like, it was nice to know ya.
Yeah, it was evil. Like I really thought I saw red eyes poking out at one point. Like it was talking to me. If I put my ear up to it, it was talking to me like that. Yeah.
Well, that's also New Orleans, so you know.
I believe I was like, after my 2-hour conversation with the devil woman, I think it was one of those things where she put a hex on me. She's like, this white crazy northern white boy shall have the most crazy experience that he will never remember.
And you know what? When I go down to NOLA, I hope I have the same experience, because are you doing Mardi Gras right unless you have that?
Yes. Well, from what I hear, that you can have Mardi Gras 365 days since they canceled Mardi Gras last year. Everybody just took their floats and made them their front yards. So
they did actually.
Yeah.
What's even funnier about Mardi Gras is that's how I actually know someone whose father was named the Mardi Gras King, and she laughed and joked with me. By far, hands down, one of my favorite parents I've ever had ever. She comes into my classroom. This is when I had her daughter for one of my years that I taught second grade, and she's like, honestly, the whole reason why I have this daughter, your student, is because my dad was king of Mardi Gras, and that made me the princess. Crazy times ensued, and now here she is. You're welcome. And I'm like, Mardi Gras rules. This is amazing. I want to be the Mardi Gras princess. It's the whole conception part. Like, that's cool. I can do without that. I procreated enough already. I'm good. I'm good. Yes, I'm here. Make me princess. My dad's not for that life, so I'd have to be like adopted. It's fine.
I don't understand any dad who would be like, yeah, just go conquer the princess. It's okay. It's like
I think she was already married to her husband at the time. So like, it's a wholesome ending. It really is. But I see where you're going with that. Like most dads would be like, "Gonna do what with my daughter?" Huh?
Well, here's the thing: is like that you probably don't know the whole story, and it's probably like that child was conceived in like the bottom of like one of those broken floats, under some flowers on like an old mattress or something,
She told me the whole story, and it is that's the PG version. I won't share the full story. It's fine.
Oh man, some beads ended up in places they shouldn't have, that kind of thing.
It was a very wonderful story if I was reading it on like a paperback. Yeah, it was great. It was great. And I'm like, oh, thank you for sharing. Like,
like I said, they got some of those big ass beads down there, so I know it can get real kinds of crazy. So, hey, you know what? I was down there on Bourbon Street. I did not see as many titties as they proclaim down there. It's
probably
not.
It's gotten more PG as the years and like PC-ness has gone on. Like,
I don't know. I saw everything from families to homeless people, so I don't know how PG it really is.
There was a documentary I watched because, like, I won't lie, I'm low-key obsessed with Mardi Gras, and like I have friends that go every year. I had my student that was conceived in Mardi Gras. I'm like, all right, like
lots of good,
lots of history, and I watched one, and it was about this guy that was like I don't even remember what he was trying to do. What he was trying to get into some kind of underground scene, and the documentary was like absolutely fascinating. Honestly, like it's one of the best documentaries I've seen because it left you like, wait, what happens? Like,
oh, so sort of like The Sopranos.
I don't know what it was, but it was good, and I can't find it again, so I'll never. I guess I'll never know, but.
All I remember is that directly in the middle of Bourbon Street, there was a sex club. So if it's PG now and that thing is still there, then the values of of Louisiana are still in place. It's like bar, hey, slushy machine, sex club, strip club. Oh, wait a minute, another slushy machine. Oh, wait a minute, guy with a son. And then on the other side, there's a family of 6 walking down. It's like, I know how you guys were all conceived. Yeah. I can tell you for a fact that if you are not careful, Bourbon Street will eat you up and spit you out, because I went down there with a group of 8 guys to celebrate. I don't even know what we were celebrating. And I lost them. I was lost. And for 24 hours, I wandered around this freaking city and saw the coolest stuff because I hung out with all the homeless people. Literally. Like, it was the coolest experience of my life. And I'll tell you, it gives me chills to this day. You can't even see it, but I got goosebumps. Mama, what was her name? She was Mama C. Mama C took me in. She was like in her 60s. She saw me sitting on the church steps and guys were coming up to me trying to rob me. She literally sat down next to me and she goes, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. He's going to rob you. Like, and one dude got real loud with her. And I'll never forget. I think this is what made me and her best friends, like, got in her face and started like pushing her. And again, I was twice the size I once was. So being a 400-pound angry drunk guy, I literally tackled this man to the ground, and he was in his like late 50s, 60s, but he was a hoppler, like one of these, like, you know, like, so when I got him down and I stood up, he did not stand up, and then we walked away. So, but from there, I fed the homeless. I learned how to fold palms into roses. I played jazz with actual jazz musicians. Like, it was to this day. And this was all while an intoxication level that I cannot explain to you. So
unimaginable levels, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I got to see the underground, and this is something I learned. There's underground tunnels between all the major hotels in New Orleans. Yeah. And, purely for work.
What are you doing, Athena? Damn it.
Well, on that note, we literally made it through the entire hour. Look at this. Look who decides to show up in the 9th hour.
Oh, come on, Ozzy.
Travis,
Ozzy.
you disappoint me. You showed up with 1 minute to spare. And there goes the alarm. Well, we have literally played 0 games. Oh, look at this. Look at this, what this guy says. Look at what this guy says.
Yeah, okay, Ozzy, I believe you.
Yeah. I do not believe in these false words. This is the words of a scorned former champion until he has made his return to the ring.
Oh, don't say that. He'll never come back. Ozzy.
Oh no, I'm trying to challenge him because he said the same thing last week. So I know he's watching too. That's the best part. So I challenge you, Oswald, to another throwdown of the Circle of Doom. The ring of fire.
I'm just here for the margarita.
Look at this guy. He wants to break his tibia for some reason.
Wow, you're like McGregor. That's quite the comparison, buddy. When the money is right.
Yes, we're giving away Bitcoin, Travis. So whenever you're ready. Fake money for fake money. That's how it works around here. We've been mining it for the last 1.5 years, just to let you know.
I think at this point, I'd take a margarita that you guys could send me. Like, all right, shit, let's do this. Just one.
I will powder the version of it, put it in a box, and send it right over. Yeah.
I'll take the powdered version. That could be delightful. We don't know.
I've always wondered if you can powderize alcohol. Like, I just feel like it would turn into like toxic.
Stir crack has to happen at some point.
You know what? The astronauts have to get drunk at some point too. So I'm sure there's some kind of powdered version of it.
Are they allowed to get drunk? They have like the little water droplets. Like, do that with a margarita.
See, that would be the best way to take shots.
No, it's almost bedtime.
Travis is now laughing at us.
As he should. The utter ridiculousness tonight has been fabulous. I'm here for it.
All right, everybody. Well, that is it for us. It is the couch session, also known as Ring of Fire, Circle of Prosperity, whatever you want to call it.
Thanks
but as always, big thank you to Panda below and Seth below her. You guys are always awesome, and I appreciate you guys joining us every single week. My name is Mikey Blaze. I am the owner operator of Be Entertained. We do this in collaboration with Magical Memories Entertainment for one reason and one reason only: to bring some fun and activities to everybody's life during this crazy, or just to listen to us BS for an hour straight and from different corners of the world. It's pretty cool, actually, the fact that I can do that. So thank you to both of you. And big shout out to Travis for checking in 30 seconds before we were done. So I will catch you guys all next week. Thank you, everybody.